Hi, welcome back guys. This is your friend, the What If Guy, back with another fanfiction. This is the first part of What If Issei was a descendant of a Greek hero. Now before starting, please give this video a like, and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Now let's get into the fanfic. Thinking. Huo Academy was once an all-girls school. A few ago, however, this changed and it opened for both genders. It is still a prestigious school where students from around the world. Its classes range from elementary to college, and while the school is mostly known for its academic side, but its sports side does not lag behind far, such as seen on one of the school's track fields. Hayato-san, come here, it is the last run for today, yells the couch towards a young man. This person is Hayato Issei, a 17-year-old boy with brown hair and eyes. Coming, couch, yells Issei as he makes his way towards the 100 meters track. Alright, last run, so give it your all. Ready, set, go. As soon as the go came, Issei sprinted down the track. 10:38 seconds, great time, but still not your personal record unfortunately, reports the couch to Issei as he walks toward him. Hey, I think 9:75 seconds is a hard time to beat. I mean, Usain Bolt still has his world record of 9:58 seconds, replies Issei as he walks to two boys who quite openly stare at female runners. As he comes near the boys, he speaks up. So did I promise too much? Is it not great to watch those girls with their trained bodies? Damn it, Issei, you bastard, why didn't you tell us about this small piece of paradise sooner? Exclaimed one of the boys. His name is Madohama, a member of the perverted trio together with Hayato and the third boy on the track field. I did tell you, but you never believed me. Yeah, well, you should have tried harder. Matsuda say also something, yelled Madohama at Issei's rebuttal, and tries to find support with last member of their group. But instead of paying attention towards the conversation, Matsuda seems to be somewhere else in his head as he looks at his watch. As the minute goes on, Matsuda starts to move and says to his friend, well, it is time. Time? Ask both Issei and Madohama as they look at each and silently ask each if they knew what their friend meant. Time for what? Well, right now the kendo club are finishing their training and soon start to change their clothes. And I have managed to make a peeping hole into their changing room, tells Matsuda as if he created the greatest thing of humankind. Cool, man, but I need to clean myself and change clothes, so I can't come with you guys, says Hayato with small bit of disappointment. Well, you are sweaty. Serious, Issei? Yes, sorry guys, but you better get going, otherwise you will be too late and taken view for me too. After Issei gets cleaned and changed back into his uniform. As Issei comes out of the changing room, he gets the feeling to get away from there as fast as possible. Just as he for the gates, he hears his friends call out for him and sprint toward him. Issei, wait up. Hey, what you? Started but could not finish as his friend dragged him with them, still sprinting. As Issei was about to ask why they run, he hears a group running behind them and angrily screaming, stop, you perverted chimpanzees. Face your punishment, you assholes. Was Hayato-san with them? Probably. Come back here, you three moronic mongrels. Issei didn't need to think long to know who wants to hurt his friend. It is the kendo club. What he doesn't seem to notice is that they seem to think he was part of the peeping, or that Matsuda and Madohama have an evil gleam in their eyes. Thank you for sacrifice, Issei. Yeah, think. Hold them up as long you can. Wait, what? But instead of an answer, Matsuda and Madohama let go off him, which resulted in him falling to ground. He sits himself upright, the girls surround him. Issei tries to open his mouth to plead, but the girls do not care. As they release their fury on him, another group is watching them inside the main building of the school. It seems that the perverted trio was at it again, states a member of the group. Yeah, I still do not understand why they are not expelled, replies someone else. While for Matsuda and Madohama, their parents are rather influential and would be displeased to say the least if their children were expelled, even if they would deserve it. As for Hayato-san, he isn't that bad actually. Sure, he is quite open in regard of his preferences, but beyond that he's relative tame and often willing to help other. It doesn't hurt that he can represent our school at sport events, which give him a bit leeway. But that is not what truly interests me, tells the leader of the group the other members. Oh, are you going to recruit him? Asks the first person. Maybe, but not now. Anyways, we still have paperwork to do. Yes, Kaichu. After the beating, I am exiting the school slightly limping. Ouch, that hurt. By nemesis, Matsuda and Madohama will pay for this. As I walk home, I was yet again stopped by being called out to. This time it wasn't Matsuda or Madohama, but a cute girl with black hair. Even though I want to stay and talk with her, my instinct tell me to stay away from her. Excuse me, Issei-kun. I want to ask you if why you would go out with me. I am sorry, but I am not interested in a relationship. I lie through my teeth since I decided to listen to my instincts. What? Are you still aim? Are you sure? Yeah, I am. Sorry again. After I walk some distances between the girl and me, I look at my handy. Oh crap, I am late for training. Dad is going to beat my ass up. Next day at the evening. Why did I need to go to the shopping center to get the ingredient Mom forgot? At least it didn't take long to get it, and I can go through the park. It is beautiful at evening. As I walk toward the fountain at the center of the park, I feel a sudden change in the air. Issei-kun, there you are. Now that no one could interrupt us, there is something I must ask of you. As I turn, I see that the person talking to me is the same girl from yesterday. To die. Wait, what? Die for me. As she says that, two black wings appear from behind her back. She must be some kind of tengu or another mystical being. Dad always said to stay clear from those, but how am I supposed to get out of this situation? As I continue to try to come up with a plan, the girl creates a lance out of nothing and charges at me. However, misses by a large margin as I evade and put some distance between us. How you better than I thought. Oh well, not that I complain. It just makes you suffer longer. It is what you deserve. After all, who do you think you are, you bug, to reject me? For a moment I thought that maybe she will die from the amount of venom she put in her little speech. But it seems like I do not have that much luck. She charges at me again and I evade again. This game of cat and mouse repeats itself multiple times. While it seems that we are at a stalemate, the truth is that I am at a disadvantage. I cannot finish this battle since I don't have a weapon, and while I am confident that I can keep it up for some time, Dad always told me that mystical beings normally far surpass normal humans. I may not be normal, but I also think she has not shown everything yet. As if she read my mind, she stops her attacks and says, "Well, I must admit that you are not half bad, but I have enough." As finished to say this, more lances appear. Now die for good, and shoot toward me. As they fly toward me, I try to find a path to get out of there, but no path would end with me mostly unharmed. As that realization dawns upon me, cold acceptance settles in me. But before any of the lances could hit me, lightning strikes them down. What? Both me and my attacker exclaim. Rainier, in the name of the Grigori, stop this now. Both me and the now named Rainier turn towards Voice. The voice belongs to a beautiful girl with black hair and violet eyes. What stood out the most, however, was that like Rainier, she also has wings. Unlike Rainier, however, she possessed 3 pairs of wings. "TCH, what are you doing here, bastard child of Barkil?" demands Rainier from the girl. "My name is Akino Hanjima and you better use it," Akino angrily says, and continues in a calmer voice. "As for question, I was sent by Governor General Azazel to investigate your cell since you guys went silent." Rainier only growls at this. I could only stay at the sidelines and watch this all transpiring. Before Akino could do anything, Rainier generates a bright flash which blinds Akino and me. Once our vision returns, Rainier was gone. "TCH, she escaped," Akino states and turns toward me. "Are you okay?" "Yes, but what are you guys?" "HM, it is rather rude to ask something like this, but since you were attacked I will answer anyways." She says playfully, "That girl and I are fallen angel, the same as those mentioned in the Bible. Also they are not Tengus, but why are they in Japan?" "HM, you don't seem too surprised." A shame, I would have loved to see reaction upon the revelation. But I must agree with Rainier, you did really good against her. Yea, well, consider that I am a descendant of Achilles. I would bring great shame if I didn't. Wait, you are a descendant of Achilles? Hey, yeah, wasn't that the reason that girl attacked me? It was the only reason that made sense for me. No, that was not the reason. The reason was that you have a sacred gear in you. A sacred gear? You don't know? Well, it seems that I have a bit to explain to do, but first we should go somewhere else. Yeah, oh, by the way, my name is Hayadu Issei Achilles. And my name is Akino Hanjima, or here in Japan, Hanjima Akino. So how was that? I think it was not that bad. I do not know if I continue the story past the first few chapters, but I plan to write it at least till after Cockabeel. I would appreciate if you would give me tips and ideas for the story. Also, do not expect to regularly upload. With that, goodbye with my best regards. I do not own High School DxD. Well, here is chapter 2. I hope you will enjoy it. The Hayadu residence looks like most houses in the area. It has 2 floors and a backyard. What differentiates the house from those around it is the dojo next to the backyard. Hey Mom, Dad, I am back and I bring a guest. Issei yells into the house. As Akino enters the building, a middle-aged woman with brown hair comes from the rooms toward them. Oh my, Issei, you should have told us that you bring a friend for dinner. Luckily we should have enough for all of us. The woman tells Issei and takes the grocery bag from him. Then she turns towards Akino with a smile. Hello, my name is Hayadu Miki and I am Issei's mother. Feel free to call me Miki. It is nice to meet you. Hey Mom, she isn't my friend. She saved my life from a fallen angel. Oh, I see. Miki replies before staying silent for a moment before continue with, oh well, you are still then welcome to stay for dinner, especially since you saved our Issei. I hope Sukiyaki is alright. If not, then I can make something different. After all, in our household Xenia is very important. What is your name, by the way, dear? I am sorry. My name is Hanjima Akino and Sukiyaki sound lovely. Thank you for having me. As Miki walks toward the kitchen, Issei leads Akino toward the living room. In it sat a middle-aged man with brown hair and watches TV. He also seems to be quite athletic. As they enter the room, the man looks up from the TV and looks toward them. Oh, you must be our guest. Hello, my name Hayadu Goru. I welcome you to our home. Goru says kindly and a calm and peaceful smile on his face. My name is Hanjima Akino. I thank you for your and your wife's hospitality, Mr. Hayadu. Aha, there is no need for such formalities. Call me Goru. And you need not to thank us. After all, I did welcome you in my house. No. So long as you hold up the rules of Xenia, so will we. Goru rails Akino. I am sorry, but what is Xenia exactly? I am not familiar with it and do not wish to go against it by accidentally. Akino asks, but instead of Goru, Issei answers. Xenia is the holy duty of a host toward his guest, but also of guest toward his host. To break it is in the eyes of Lord Zeus the greatest sin one could do, and because of that it was very important. Those duty were, for example, to not kill the guest or host as long as they are seen as that, and to not steal from them. So basically, do not be a dick and we are all good. Issei, you know there's more to that, and do not use such language for it. Maybe I should make your training extra hard. Goro reprimands his son, who became a bit paler before turning toward Akino. Anyways, what Issei said is, will not complete and a bit vulgar, correct? You simply need not disrespect, attack or steal from us. I have a question for you, Hanjima-san, but you do not need to answer if it makes you discomfortable. From the way Issei answered your question, I assume you know about the mystical world. How are you connected to it? First, please call me Akino, and second, I have no problem to tell you more about me and how I am connected to the mystical world. It was actually the reason why I came with Hayato-san here. And with that they talked until no dinner. So you will stay in town for a while? Miki asks Akino after they finished eating. Yes, I will. I need to find where the fallen angel, and then I would have approached them peaceful. However, I think that will not be possible anymore. I probably need to fight them and search through their hideout, replies Akino. If you do not have place to stay yet, you can here, tells Miki Akino with a big smile. Oh my, I would not want to impose on you and your family. Don't worry, you would not impose. Beside, we haven't thanked you enough for saving our son. It would honor us if you stayed here. Goro states, in this case I accept your kind offer. Let me thank you by helping you with the dishes. Thank you, Akino. It is nice to have someone to help. As Miki says the last part, she gives Issei and her husband a meaningful look. Issei, why don't we work of your mother's delicious meals? Yes, let's do that. And with that the two males went to the dojo. After Miki and Akino finished the dishes and Akino put her things in her temporary room. I wonder Hayato-kun and Goro-san are still training. Well, I have time to spare and need to talk to Hayato-kun anyway, so I may as well go look. As I near the dojo, the sound of clashing together becomes louder and louder. Once I enter the dojo, I am met with Hayato-kun and Goro-san stand on opposite sides with what looks like one-handed swords. As if I was the start, both run toward each other upon me entering. Hayato-kun is the first to attack, but his attack is blocked by his father, who in turn tried to attach his son's leg. Keyword is tried, as Hayato-kun dodges by taking a step and narrowly evading the hit. This risky move gives him, however, a big opportunity, which he took and aims an attack on his father's neck. Before Hayato-kun executes the attack, his father follows his son and swings his sword. This forces Hayato-kun to block the swing. Now, with both swords being locked together, a small standstill was created. Both fighters try to overwhelm the other with their strength but aren't able to. Just as it started to look like it will be a draw, Hayato-kun did something surprising. He gives a push but then loosens his muscles and takes a step to the left. With the sudden loss of resistance, Goro-san begins to lose his balance and stumbles forward into a roll and hopes to get away Hayato-kun. Despite his hope, once Goro-san starts to stand up, he finds his opponent's sword tip at his throat. I yield. Great job, Issei. You did really good. Goro-san tells Hayato-kun proudly. Yes, I finally did it. I finally managed to defeat you, Dad. That was quite the fight. You really are impressive, though I should not be that much surprised. Consider how managed to evade all of Rainier's attacks. I tell Hayato-kun. HMO, hey Hanjima-san. Have you watched us fight? Hayato-kun replies. I have not seen the whole fight but the end. I hope there wasn't a problem. And please, Hayato-kun, call me Akino. Sure, but only if you call me Issei, Akino-san. Hayu. I mean Issei-kun says, and his father continues with his proud smile. Don't worry about watching us train. It is not a problem. Was there anything you wanted beside watching us? Oh, there actually is. Issei-kun, would you be willing to help me with the fallen angel? Why would you want my help? I mean, I did not manage to defeat Rainier, so why me? I am positive that you would have won had you a suitable weapon with you, and do have such a weapon that you can have. And there are two reasons for why I ask for your help. The first is that the extra support would be nice. I may be able to do it alone, but beside the number of fallen angel, I don't have more information on them. So someone who I know can hold their own in a fight would be reassuring. And the second reason is that you may be a target they are after. I think it is the sacred gear that resides in you, but I cannot be for sure. As your father, Issei, I would like if you do not get involved, but I also know that nobody can go against the Morai. Today you also showed that you're capable to look after yourself in a fight. So I will not go against your decision, Issei. Dad, Issei-kun says, half crying before turning towards me. Alright, I will help you. He continues with determination in his voice. Alright, come to my room after you got a shower and so that we can talk about more details. After a shower and change of clothes. Akino's room. After showering and getting new clothes, I went to the guest room Akino uses and give a quick knock. I did not need to wait, as Akino gave short come in. Hey Akino-san, so what do you want to talk about? Well, for starter, before we can go search for the fallen angels we are more precious, I need to talk with the supervisor of this city, and I would prefer if you would be there too, since you will help me. Wait, what supervisor? As far as I know, Kyo has no supervisor. Well, in the eyes of those who know about the mystical world, Kyo is owned by the devil fraction. You remember those from my explanation from earlier, right? You mean devil from the Bible, right? Those who are technical still at war against your fraction, right? But wait, why is the town owned by the devils and not by the Japanese mythology like yakais? I do not know the details, but I think the devils bought the city, which they were quite lucky with, since the Japanese mythology really interact with other religions or mythologies. But this is beside the point. What is important is that we need to ask for permission to act in this city. Well, more I need to than you, but they could accidentally think you are part of Rainier's group and attack or kill you. Wait, they would kill for being potentially be an enemy. It is highly unlikely, especially with this city's supervisor, but it is better to be safe than sorry. Yeah, alright, I understand. So when and where are we meeting this supervisor? I do not know where they are at night since they are probably hunting a stray devil, but we can meet them tomorrow. Hey Makino-san, what are stray devils? Did I not mention them earlier? Oh well, do you remember how devils keep their population high? Yes, they do it through reincarnation of other species with evil pieces. Correct. Yes, the evil pieces were inspired by chess pieces, with the king being the devil. Now what if the reincarnated devil runs away or kills their king? I guess they become a stray devil. Correct, but it isn't simply as someone running away. Stray devils mutate or transform and become so wild and insane that one cannot reason with them. They attack everyone, which is why they are hunted. Doesn't matter if by exorcists, fallen angels, or devils. There are some exceptions of stray devils that remain sane, but those are extremely rare. Oh, I see. So tomorrow we will meet with the supervisor. Is there anything else? Yes, there is. I still need to give you that weapon I promised you. As Akino says that, she holds out one of her arms and a magic circle appears. From it a sword slowly appears. It is an European sword which was wielded by knights. Its hilt is royal blue and has a golden pommel. The crossguard is also golden and has some strange symbols written in it. What was strange is that the blade starts with golden, but the further one looks towards the sword tip, the darker the metal becomes, ending in a dark blue. The feeling I get from the sword are also confusing. On the one hand, it gives me the feeling of being safe, but on the other hand, it also radiates what I only can describe as bloodlust. This, Issei-kun, is Erendite, the sword of Lancelot du Lac, the Knight of the Lake. He was one of the strongest, if not the strongest, knight of King Arthur and a member of the Round Table. Akino, what is that conflicting feeling I get from it? Well, Erendite is one of the few holy demonic swords. It once was a pure holy sword, however, though Lancelot's action it corrupted, for a lack of a better word. Why it isn't a pure demonic sword I don't know, however it is an effective weapon against both holy as well as demonic beings. Alright, but how am I going to carry it? I can't carry it around in bright daylight. Alright, I almost forgot. Here, take this. As she says that, she gives me the bracelet from her arm. Before I can ask what to do with it, she starts to explain it. This bracelet will store it. You need to push a bit of magical energy in it, and then the bracelet will store the sword. To get it out, you just need to do the same again. Hey Maya, I do not know not if I have magical energy. I say, a bit embarrassed. Do not worry. You have magical energy in you. It is not enough to rely on magic in a fight, but you would be able to learn a bit of magic. Who knows, maybe I will teach you a bit of strengthening magic. With luck, you could even get a familiar. Learning magic would be interesting. Dad doesn't know how to do it, otherwise he would have taught me. I think to myself before asking Akino-san if she could teach me how to push magical energy in the bracelet, which she agrees to. Like that we spend the night till I went to bed. I am not really happy with this chapter because I wanted to include the meeting with the student council in this chapter, but I also think this is a good point to stop. Oh well, at least I do not need to think about what will happen in the next chapter. On an unrelated note, if this Issei would have a familiar, what would that be? I wish you guys a good day. Goodbye with my best regards. Hello everybody. This chapter will end the first arc. Took me some time, but considering that it is around 3 times as long, I think that is alright. I had big problems with the fights that will appear since I did not know how to write them interesting. I still have no idea how, but whatever. I also would like to ask you if you could read the end bit please, since there is something semi-important for the next chapter. Well, I wish you fun with reading. Next day, in front of Kyo Academy. Hey Akino-san, why are we at my school? I thought that we will meet with the supervisor, asks Issei as he and Akino make their way toward the main building. Akino only chuckles at that before telling him, but Issei, we are on the way to meet them. To Issei it was quite obviously that Akino leaves him in dark, but couldn't figure out why. Okay, but why are we meeting them here? Wait, are they part of the school staff? Maybe. You will out soon. We are almost there. Akino answers with an amused smile. Issei decides in that moment not to search for more answers, since he obviously will not get clear ones and will end up with even more questions. After a bit of walking, Akino stops in front of a particular room. One that every student of the high school division knows about, but only a few saw from the inside. That room is the student council room. No way. One of them is the supervisor. I can't believe it. Issei exclaims, not sure how to process the new information. At Issei's exclamation and surprise, Akino laugh out loud. Yeah, hit me all you want. Issei slightly grumbles but also has small smile. Her laughter sounds beautiful, Issei secretly thought to himself. Joke aside, we should go and tell the supervisor that we are here. Akino says to Issei after having calmed down and knocks at the door. Please come in, came a voice from the inside. As they enter, Issei sees all the members of the council in it. Before he could do any more observation, Akino starts to speak. Hello Sona Shitori, or should I call you Sona Citri? Anyways, my name Akino Hanjima from the Grigori. As she finished to speak, she gives a bow towards Sona, something Issei quickly imitates. I welcome you, Hanjima-san, Hayaru-san. Either is fine with me. Now, I was not aware that Hayaru-san is a member of the Grigori. Why is that he is in my territory without my knowledge? Sona demands to know with a cold tone that sends a chill down Issei's spine. There seemed to be a misunderstanding here. Akino starts to answer before someone else yells at her. A misunderstanding. How could that be a misunderstanding that you guys have a member here that probably spies on us? Angrily shouts Saji Genshiro, a member of the council. Saji-san, that is enough. If this is truly a misunderstanding, then I want to know how it happened. Sona says to her pawn, who apologizes to Sona but not Akino, which angers Issei. As I was saying, this is a misunderstanding. Issei-kun is not a member of the Grigori. Then why is he here? Sona asks Akino while looking at Issei with a hint of doubt. Well, it has to do with my mission, so I think it is better to start with that. My mission was to investigate a group of fallen angels who stopped any form of contact with the Grigori. It was your mission. What happened? Another member asks. This time it was Tomo Meguri. Yes, I will come to that point in a moment. Anyways, they were in the area of the town, and after searching for them we came to the conclusion that they are in this city. So I was sent to look for them. The reason I do not see it as my mission anymore is that when I arrived here I witnessed one of the missing fallen angels attacking Issei-kun here. What was really surprising was that Issei-kun was able to evade all of the attacks, and I am quite sure he would have won if he had a weapon. At that, all but the calmest member of the student council exclaimed, both in surprise and shock. What? In their mind it should be impossible for a mere human to have a chance to win against someone or thing mythical. That is why they go hunting for stray devils. Issei meanwhile starts to get slightly embarrassed to the Kino proclamation. To answer what now my mission is. It is the capture and return of the Rouge Fallen Angels. As to why Issei is here, I ask him for his help, as he had proven to be able to look after himself in a fight and seems to a target. Now then, would it be alright if we act in your territory, Miss Citri? After being quiet for a while, Sona starts to give answer. I will allow you to act in my territory, however there are some conditions I have. The first is that you report anything you find. Second, I and my peerage have the right to step in should we see the need. Third, you and Hayato-san will help us with stray devil hunts. There are some others I have, but those are compensations for what is going on. Something you, Miss Hanjima, would not be able to discuss, correct? That would be correct, Miss Citri. I will get in contact with my superiors so that we can talk about the compensations. And the named conditions are more than acceptable. If you do not mind, we would take our leave. Yes, you may take your leave. Have a good day, Sona says as Issei and Akino say their goodbyes and leave. They walk as quiet until they reach the school gate. Akino turns and regards the school again before saying, well, that went well. Did you expect the meeting to go? Issei asks curiously. Well, the meeting was close to a perfect outcome for us. Anything could have gone worse. For the start, our unnotified appearance. Wait, I thought you made an appointment with them. Issei interrupts Akino. No, I didn't. It slipped my mind yesterday with all that happened to Ahi. Akino answers with slightly embarrassed chuckle at the end. Okay, whatever. What else could have gone wrong? They could not have believed me when I said that you are not a part of the Grigori. It would have been not the first time that one of the fractions used such a tactic. Then there are their conditions, which could have been much worse. They demand for compensations may have been a bit too direct and for some people rude, but it is not unreasonable. And of course Miss Citri could have simply not given permission to act. Some of those could have led to us fighting against them. Issei can't help but stay silent at that. He may not know much about negotiation, but even he knows that they were lucky. Now Issei, since we now have the permission to act in the city, we can now search the city. Since the fallen angels will most likely not act during the day, we should split up to look for potential hideout that we then search through together at night. Any objections? Upon Issei denying any objections, Akino and Issei split up. Sometimes later, after searching some of the populated areas in case the fallen angels were there, I came up with nothing. I know I should not be impatient about this, but I cannot help but worry. After all, if I am a target, what about Mom and Dad? Dad could probably defend himself, but the same could not be said about Mom. No, it is better the fallen angels are taken down as fast as possible. As those thoughts run through my mind, I did not pay attention to my surrounding and walk into someone. As I look at the person, I am stunned because of the cuteness that I see. The person I walked into is a golden blonde-haired girl with emerald green eyes. She looks like she is a year younger than me. What however stands out the most are her clothes. She wears what is most likely a nun attire. All this combined, and she looks like what I would imagine an angel to look like. It takes me a bit before I get myself back together and start to apologize. Sorry. I should have paid more attention on my surrounding. Here, let me help you up. Thank you, and do not apologize. I too should have paid more attention, but luckily nothing happened, so everything is all right. The girl says with an innocent voice and bright smile. Maybe you are right, but still, I would feel like an asshole if do not at least apologize. Is there anything I can help you with? Well, she starts with a slight blush on her face. My mind could only think of cuteness overload. See, could you tell me where the church is? She finally managed to say, and continues with, I am new in town and have lost my way. As she says that, I notice her luggage, which seems to have opened in our collision. Church? Do we even have a church? Wait, is she referring the old church? Isn't it abandoned? She is probably going to reopen it. I will do something better. I will show you where it is. But we should first gather your things. Oh, my name is Hayato Issei, by the way. Thank you, Hayato. My name is Asia Argento. And like that, we gather her things and make our way toward the old church. On the way there, we talk a bit about many topics like what she is doing here. I was correct in my assumption. Or how school is like. She was for some reason really interested in that. I wonder why. As the church comes view, something happens which makes me conflicted. Akino-san has written me so that we can meet back up. While I know I should go and do that, I do not want to leave Asia-chan alone. I seem to have shown my inner on my face because Asia-chan says, Hayato, it is alright if you need to leave. I can already see the church and should be able to go there alone. I thank you for help. If you like it and have time, would you want to visit F for some tea? Why, you do not need to that, of course, but I really need to suppress the need to pat her head in that moment. How can someone be so cute? I would to do that sometimes. And thank you for your understanding. I wish you a good evening. Bye. And with that I leave. As I go to meet up with Akino-san, I get a stray thought. Would fallen angels reside in a church? A bit later. Hey Akino-san. How was your search? I did not walk into trouble, however I only managed to find 4 potential spots. How about you? Well, I did maybe find a spot. I wasn't near it and saw it just from the distance, but maybe they are in the old church. However, someone lives there, so I am not sure. Other than that, nothing on my side. Alright. How about we check out my first and then yours? That way we can do some surveillance of the church tomorrow to make sure. Well, I have school tomorrow, so we would need to do it after that, but I think it's a good plan. The next day. Finally, the period is over. Man, am I tired. After looking through the places Akino-san found, we came up with nothing. It was a complete waste of time. Well, not really, since I could spend time with Akino-san. It is nice not be looked at as a simple pervert or athletic star. As a consequence of spending most of the time out is that I could not sleep for long. Hey Issei, wanna go and watch some porn? Matsuda brings me out of my thoughts as he and Madohama make their way toward me. I'm sorry guys, but I cannot. I have something to do, I say as we make our way toward the school gate. Hey, what is more important than porn? Asks Madohama. Before I answer, the 3 of us notice a gathering of students at the gate. As we come closer, we start to hear whispering. Do you know who she is? No, but she is definite hot. Any idea why she is here? I wish I looked so good. Oh man, she is the definition of Yamato Nade Chico. At the last comment, both Madohama and Matsuda got extremely excited. Did you hear that, guys? A real Yamato Nade Chico. Yeah man, we really need to see her. While I am also curious, I am not as excited as those 2 after I know Akino-san. She could probably put most Yamato Nade Chico in her shadow. Wait a minute, it couldn't be her, right? Why would she be here? As I start to think about the possibility, we make our way to the front of the gathering. And what we see is what I assumed. The Yamato Nade Chico is indeed Akino-san. Wow, look Matsuda, Issei, they are real. Yamato Nade Chico are really real. Madohama says to us. Upon probably hearing my name, Akino-san turns in our direction, and upon seeing smiles. For almost all this smile seemed to be bright and full of joy. For me, however, it isn't. Something I found out in the time Akino-san and I spent together is that while kind and polite, she is also extremely mischievous. She likes to put others in embarrassing or troublesome situation and watch them try to get out of it. So when I saw that smile, I knew I am in trouble. I say, come, there you are. I was waiting for you. As she yells that, she runs toward me and gives me a tight hug, purposefully pressing her big breast against my body. I really do not know if I should be extremely happy or fearful at this situation, because as she does that, I feel a huge amount of bloodlust. Issei, you bastard, how the hell do you know her? Both Matsuda and Madohama yell. As I thought about what to say as to not worsen my situation. If it would be even possible, I think to myself, but then I see something which scares me. Akino's eyes turn unnatural, innocent eyes. You didn't tell them about me. I thought that you would, considering that we live together. Am I an embarrassment for you? Eyes. I stand corrected. If I thought the amount of bloodlust was huge before, now it is 10 times as strong. I was to call erendite and fight my way out when my guardian angel appears, or should I say guardian devil. What is going on here? Shitori Kaichu yells and everyone immediately stopped their bloodlust. Miss Heimjima, what are you doing here? Are you the reason for this racket? Miss Sit. Shitori, why, I have no idea what you mean. I am just here to meet up with Aiz-kun. But since you are also here, I would like to talk with you about something. Akino-san, and let me go, in order to turn towards Shitori Kaichu. Alright. Everyone please go home or to your club activities. And with that, gathering slowly disappear. Most still give me death glares, especially Matsuda and Madohama. As I tried to sneak away, Akino-san turns back and starts to hug me again. Where do you think you are going? We still have something to do after this. Akino-san says, sultry voice. I was really happy that everyone already went away. Let us go to the student council room. Shitori Kaichu tells us. Later. At the end, Akino-san only told Shitori Kaichu about what we know, where we search next, and also about the compensation. I have not really paid attention. Both because I did not really care and because I am tired. After the talk was over, Akino-san and I went to the church. We decided to only do the church today since I am so tired. It is something I am grateful for. At the moment we near the church when I ask Akino, so how do we want to do it? Guns blazing or sneaky, or simply go in? I think we should knock. After all, you said someone lives there, and if the fallen angels aren't there, we would have been unnecessary rude. Alright, I forgot. At the end of the sentence I yawn and Akino-san looks worried at me. Are you sure you want to do it today? We can still do it tomorrow. We really shouldn't have looked through all the spots in the same night. You are after all human and need your sleep. No, it is alright. I can do it. Beside, it is just the church today. I say determinedly. To be honest, I understand why Akino-san is worried, and maybe she is right and we should wait. But my pride won't let me quit. There is also that feeling of worry in my body, as if I wait something irreversible would happen. Before we knock at the door I take a deep breath and then we enter. The inside looks as I would have expected but also not. While the banks and structure look like a well-maintained church, there was one thing which destroys that image. All holy symbols with the exception of the altar are destroyed. At the altar stand a young man who has white hair and red eyes. He wears typical clerical clothing. If one asked me, he looks like what I would say is a typical priest. Oi oi oi, who are you fuckers? And there goes that impression, I think to myself as the priest talks. Well, that confirms where the fallen angels are. Aquino-san says, Eyes, let me introduce you to Fried Selzen, the most insane stray exorcist there is and one of the known member of the people we're looking for. I see my reputation precedes me. What can I say, bitches love me. This Fried guy says before taking out two objects out of his mantle. A gun and a staff that turns out to be lightsaber. Okay, I want one. I cannot help but think. Now then, the boss lady said to kill anyone who may interfere with the ritual. So die. And with that he charges at us. I am unable to call out Erendite before Fried would reach me. Luckily I am not alone. Before he could reach me, Aquino-san forces him away with lightning. This gives me enough time. With Erendite I charge at him and do a fury of attacks which he either parries or evades. Fried leaps back and shoots his gun at me. I manage to evade all shoots. This may have seemed like an advantage for Fried, however the distance between us gives Aquino-san the chance to unleash a storm of lightning strikes. Surprisingly, he managed to evade most strikes. Most but not all. Fuck you bitch. Fried screams. Why the fuck do I need to play gatekeeper while the shits are down there doing that shitty ritual on that little church, bitch? What the hell is he talking about? Who is he talking about? The fallen angels. But is the other person? Wait, what do you mean? Before I could continue to think about it, Fried starts to attack again. This time he chooses to stay close to me as to give Aquino-san an opportunity to attack him from the distance. Normally this make his gun as good as useless, but his fighting is so unorthodox that he can still make use of it. That however does not mean that it works. I need to evade more, but Aquino-san and me still have the advantage, and Fried seems to know that. He becomes more and more desperate. Okay, I have enough with you guys. I was only here because the boss guy told me but I have enough. Fried yells as takes something out of his mantle and throws on the ground. The next thing I could see is white. After a bit I am able to see again. The first thing I notice is that Fried is nowhere to be seen. After that I turn to Aquino-san to see if she is alright. Are you alright, Aquino-san? Yes, I am fine. It seems that Fried run away. I hope he didn't notify others of our presences. Now then, let us start our search. So we searched the whole building but didn't find anybody else. One would think that a ritual would be kind of flashy and noticeable. But we searched the whole church and haven't found even a feather. I say to Aquino-san as we went back toward the altar. While you are correct that rituals are often quite noticeable, we did look everywhere. Aquino-san tells me, which confused me since we search every room. Tell me, Eyes, do you notice something strange about this altar? Something strange about the altar. There is nothing strange about it as far as I can tell. No, Aquino-san, I don't see something about it. I tell her my thoughts. You are correct. There is nothing strange as far as we can see. However, here is another question for you. Why destroy every even remotely holy symbol but the altar? I could give no answer for that, seeing that Aquino-san goes to the altar and inspect it. Hey Eyes, come here. I need your help moving the altar. As we move it, a hiding staircase is revealed. We can be pretty sure that down there will be the ritual. Eyes, from this moment we need to see everyone down there as an enemy. Aquino-san says with serious voice. Instead of answering, I call upon Erendite. At the bottom of the stairs is a cave-like structure with a ceiling height of 5 meters. In it are a group of hooded individuals, and on the far end of it is a podium. What is on it both scare me and enrage me. On it are both Rainier and Asia. However, Asia is not standing but chained on a strange cross and wearing only some rags. Asia. Absolute silence. Well, there goes our potential surprise attack. Oh well, no sense in cry about spoiled milk. What the hell are you two doing here? Where is Fried? Rainier demands. Instead of answering, I charge toward the podium. The hooded group take out their weapon and start to charge as well, but before either me or them could each other, the hooded group was attacked by lightning. You should really learn a bit patience. However, I like them a bit more wild. Aquino-san, what are you waiting for? I will try to get know these fine gentlemen a bit. At that I get a light flashback toward earlier today and shiver goes down my spine, but I didn't let it hold me off for long. As I begin my charge again, I hear screams from behind me. As I reach the top of the podium, Rainier starts to talk. I have no idea why you are here, but it doesn't. You talk too much, I say as I attack her. However, she evades and summons her light lance. And why should I worry? Last time you couldn't even come near me. Last time I had no weapon, bitch, I think to myself, but there is no reason to remind her. As we clash, I manage to overwhelm her with my skill with the sword and give her a small cut on her arm. Rainier yells in pure pain. What the hell is that sword? It isn't a demonic sword. It lacks the aura for one. Now knowing that can hurt her, and quite painfully at that. She is much more cautious and change her tactic. Using her wings, she takes to the sky and creates many light lances. This is the same attack as at the park. It would make sense to use it if we were in the same position as to last time. This, however, there are two differences. I think to myself as I put my sword in a defensive position and Rainier fires her lances. The first is that I have now a great weapon. I either evade all lances or parry them, none coming even close to hitting me. And the second difference is, I think, as I start sprinting toward the nearest wall from Rainier, slightly confusing her. As I come near it, I jump on it and then do a wall jump, putting me on the same height as her. That we are not outdoors. Rainier is so surprised that she does not protect herself in time and enable me to cut off one of arm and half of a wing, resulting in both of us falling. I landed safely by doing a roll to redirect my momentum while Rainier simply crashed on the ground near Asia. Before I could celebrate my victory, Asia starts to scream and something starts to shine around her breasts area, more precise where her heart is. Aha, you guys are too late. Rainier yells with a maniac smile and turns toward Asia. In the time where I looked at Rainier, 2 rings appeared which are taken by her and is healed instantly. At the same moment, Asia loses the light in her eyes and goes limp. Finally, it is mine. Mouth and ready for round 3. Not that it matters. And with that, she charges at me and takes the offensive. I only could go in the defensive because of my instincts. I can only react, not being able to form a tactic or truly concentrating on the fight, since I am still in shock at what happened to Asia. Eyes concentrate on the fight. I hear Akino-sen yell at me. It does its job and shakes me out of my shock state. What the hell did you do to Asia? I yell angrily at Rainier and use an opening in her attacks to counter. While it manages to hit, the wound isn't big. Unlike before, Rainier doesn't scream in pain. She still flinches at receiving the wound but smiles even crazier. Wasn't you who told me I talk too much? But I guess it doesn't matter if I tell you or not, so why not? She says as she takes to the sky again, making sure that she has some distances between the walls. What I did was taking away her sacred gear. It is Twilight Healing, which has the ability to heal wounds of anybody. This tells me that the wound I gave her started to heal. I do not know how to react to it, but I also have not the time to think about it because Rainier starts to nosediving and tries to skewer me with her lance. With me not focused and Rainier not pacing herself, she managed to cut my arms a few times. They aren't wound, which stopped me from fighting, but annoying nonetheless. Luckily, Rainier cannot do these nosedives for long and takes back into the air. Honestly, you humans are so dumb. She starts to taunt. I mean, first we have you who thinks he could fight and win against me. And then we have that little blonde idiot who seriously thought we would help her and care for her. I mean, how stupid can one be? We didn't care for her. She was just a tool. With each word I got angrier and angrier, and my goal to defeat her got stronger and stronger. Until, I declare you worthy enough to wield it. I hear a voice in my head. Despite being insulted for being stupid and weak. You feel anger not because of that, but because of the insults against someone else. Despite not truly being part of the mystical world, you still decide to fight in order to protect those who are innocent. So with that, I declare you worthy to wield Arendite's power. Focus your magic in it, call its name, and it will give you the power you need. And with that, the voice becomes quiet. What was that? Worthy? What does that mean? Whose voice was that? Can Arendite really do that? Those and many other questions go through my head, but one thing is clear. I can only win if the voice tells the truth. And with that, I do as the voice told me and focus my magic energy in Arendite. This generates blue flames along the blade, something which doesn't go unnoticed. Oh, what are you trying now? Do you not know that it is useless? Shut up and find out if it is useless, you deranged bitch. How dare you? And with that, she charges. As I was about to call Arendite's name, my instincts say that it isn't enough energy yet. But I cannot wait, neither do I want to wait. I will end this with this attack. So please lend me your power. Arondight, I yell and swing it. What? Rainier could say before she is hit by the slash of light which was fired of Arendite and explodes on impact. It is over. All the tiredness of yesterday night, today in this fight caught up. It takes away most of my strength away, making even standing a chore. But I am feeling great. After all, I did it. I defeated Rainier. Or so I thought. Eyes, watch out. Akino screams and pushes me. As I look up, I only could watch in horror as a light lances in Akino's abdomen. Did you really think you won? My head slowly turns toward where the voice comes from. Standing there is Rainier. Her whole body is covered with dirt and burn marks and has a large open wound which goes from her left shoulder down to her hip. While she stands, it is clear to me that she is on her last leg. Sure, you possessing Arendite and being able to use it was a surprise, but it doesn't change anything. It even makes things better. Rainier starts to talk, more to herself than me because she doesn't notice me making my way slowly to her. I can say that that bastard child has stolen Arendite and gave it to you. I have found out and killed you guys to take it back. In addition, you guys also stole the sacred gear from that girl. It would make sense too, since so long the owner is dead, anybody can take it so long they are fast enough. This gives me a pause and a plan forms itself in my head. Yes, that will work nicely. Huh, that are the last thing I hear from Rainier as I cut off her head. I do not waste time and take the 2 rings Rainier has and run as fast as I can toward Akino. Akino, here, take those. I say as I hold the rings toward Akino. Our cough eyes, I think we're a bit young to marry. Akino jokes weakly. Akino, please. I desperately plead with her. This gives her a pause and looks at me before smiling gently and takes the rings. I hold on of her hands tightly and praying to anyone that it work. At first nothing happens and I fear the worst, but then green light starts to glow from her and her wounds heal. To say I am happy is an understatement. With the reassurance that Akino would survive, I collapse, exhausting finally taking me. Unknown time later. Issei's room. It is early in the morning when Issei finally wakes up. At first he is confused where he was, but that quickly vanishes. The next thing he notices is that he isn't alone in his bed. Now normally he would be extremely excited, but with him not remembering what happened the last days, his excitement is limited. After a moment he takes a look as who it is. It is Akino, and in that moment Issei remembers what happened. Akino, are you alright? Do you have any wounds? Do you feeling good? Issei let out a flood of questions. Good morning, eyes, or should I say darling? Akino chuckles at her own joke. I am fine, eyes. But more importantly, how are you feeling? You were asleep for 3 days. What, I was asleep for so long? As if to answer his own question, his stomach lets out a growl similar to that of a lion. It seems like someone is hungry. Come, let's get up. Your parents will be happy that you up again. Akino says before standing up and leaves the room to go and change. After changing his clothes, Issei goes to the kitchen. No 2 steps into the kitchen, Issei is tackled down by his mother. Issei, I am so apitha to worry wake. Miki mumbles out as she cries into her son. Issei at first isn't sure what to do, but then simply starts hug his mother as he as well starts to cry. He finally has started to realize that he could have died in that fight. After a moment, Goro comes and helps his wife and son up and then hugs them tightly. You have worried so much. You have no idea. But finally you're awake, he says to his son as some tears roll down his face. Over the last few days he needed to be strong for his wife and tried to hold in his tears, but now with their son awake and well, he doesn't need to hold back anymore. Akino meanwhile observes them and continues to make breakfast. After the family has calmed down enough, they eat breakfast. And after that both Miki and Goro needed to head to work, leaving Akino in charge of Issei. So what happened after I collapsed? Well, first I tried to heal you with Twilight Healing, which worked, but you still were unconscious. Wait, Twilight Healing? That was the sacred gear of Asia Argento. It has the ability to heal anyone, which is a rare ability to have. In that moment Issei realizes something. Asia, what happened to her? Is she alright? He knows that she is probably dead, but to know and to accept are 2 different things. I am sorry, eyes. She died after Rainer took out her sacred gear. There was nothing we could have done. No, why here? Didn't she not already went through enough? Issei asks no one in particular. Akino only could hug him and keep him company. After a while Akino continues to tell Issei what had happened after he collapsed. How she carried him back to his home. How she went to the student council and gave a short report to them about what happened. They still need to give more detailed report, but that could wait till tomorrow. The rest of day was they talked together to try and distract from Asia's death. Issei talked about the voice he heard. In the end they guessed that it was Lancelot who judged Issei as worthy. It was later decided that Issei is fit enough to go to school. The next day after school, Issei was welcomed back warmly back. Many at first thought that Issei tried to run away from the beating he would have received thanks to Akino's joke. However, after Akino appearing with distracted look and later hearing gossip of both his taking a few days free from work, it was accepted that something happened. Issei decided to let this thought continue and not correct it. When asked what happened, he simply says that he was involved in an accident and leaves it at that. Akino comes after the last period and both go to the student council room. Good afternoon, Miss Hanjima. Hayadu-san. I hope you are feeling fine, Hayadu-san. Should you need more rest, do not worry about classes. We will make sure you are excused. Sona greets Akino and Issei. At the moment only Akino, Issei, Sona and Tsubaki, who is the vice president of the student council. Thank you, Shitori Kaichu, but I am feeling fine, so it won't be needed. Issei thanks her. Alright then, let us start this meeting. So just to repeat what we already know, you two found one of the missing fallen angels and a group of unknown humans. They did a ritual to get a sacred gear and it came to a fight between you and them. The results were that Hayadu-san was unconscious, Miss Hanjima received the sacred gear, the unknown group of humans were captured and the fallen angel dead. Sona recounts what she already knew. Well, the first thing we should add is that before we found the ritual we fought against a stray exorcist, a certain Freed Selzen. Akino begins to add more information. Unfortunately he managed to escape. He didn't seem to be a part of their group, however. Why are you thinking that? Tsubaki asks, and instead of Akino, Issei answers. He says that he was only there because the boss told him so. Who this boss we do not know. We didn't find anything from important in the church. Did find maybe something, or did the human tell you something? Akino asks Sona and hope they found something, but Sona simply shakes her head. While we managed to find out the humans were a mix of stray exorcists and mages, we didn't find out much more or anything of important. What I'd like to know is why you killed the fallen angel. Rainer. She would have more information. I didn't kill her, eyes did it. This shocks the two devils. I didn't have another choice. I couldn't defeat her because of Twilight Healing and I needed it because otherwise Akino-chan would have died. Okay, wait, I think the two of need more information here. Sona says, because of me lowering my guard before confirming Rainer's defeat. Akino took the hit for me. Reiner did the same error as me and I killed her and gave Akino twilight healing in order to save her. I see, Sona replies before becoming quiet and thinks if she should try to recruit Issei, but decides that it is a matter for another time. Anyways, are there more things that we should know? No, there isn't more. Now the only thing I need to do is find the other fallen angels. That won't be necessary. Yesterday night we did one of typical patrols. On it we were attacked by the missing fallen angels. They thought that we were the one who interfered with the ritual and wanted revenge. We managed to defeat them and capture them. We still need to do some interrogation and reports and then you can have them. Upon hearing that, Akino doesn't seem to be as happy as Issei would have expected, but she still thanks Sona for the information and apologizes for the inconvenience. Since there isn't any more to discuss, Issei and Akino say their goodbyes and head to Issei's home. Later, ever since Akino-chan was told that Shitori Kaichu has the other fallen angels, she seems to be sad. Why through? Instead of continue thinking about it, I decide to simply ask her, "Hey Akino-chan, what is going on? You seem to be sad." HMO thanks eyes for worrying. It is. Well, once I have get the fallen angels I need to go back to the Grigori. While I will happy to go back, especially since my father is there, I also started to enjoy my stay here. So I will it, and more importantly you. And more I couldn't say. I mean, I knew she would leave one day, but it still feels strange to think that she will leave soon. A few days later, it was time for Akino to leave. Today a few members of the Grigori came to help with the transport the fallen angels. They already left Akino so she could say her goodbyes. Akino and the Hayatu family stand in front the family's house. Miki is the first to hug Akino and tells her, "Dear, please come visit again. It was really nice to have you stay with us. Don't worry, I will make sure to visit." Akino tells the older woman and returns the hug. The next person to say his goodbyes is Goro, and likes his wife, he also gives Akino a hug. "You are always welcome here, so if you ever need a place to simply take a break, feel free to come here." "Thank you, I will keep that in mind." And with that, only one person still needs to say his goodbyes. As Issei makes his way toward Akino, he summons Erendite. "I guess I should give this back to you." "No eyes, it is yours. You were chosen by it and I have no need for it. So keep it." "So that's it, huh?" At that, Akino starts to smile, that too innocent smile. "Oh darling, don't worry. Did you already forgot the wedding rings you gave me?" At that, Akino summons Twilight Healing. "Even if I need to go for now, I will come back. But I guess I didn't told you, yes, did I? And you also do not have your own ring." What to do, what to do. "I have an idea which will work for now." And with that, she kissed Issei on the mouth. "Kayagoro dear, did you hear that? Our little Issei is growing up." Miki happy says to hear husband and hugs him. "Yes, Issei slowly becomes a man," Goro says proudly. Before Issei could say anything, Akino says her last goodbye and runs toward a car which waited for her. And with that, it drives away. In front of the student council room. It has been 1.5 weeks since Akino-chan left. In that time, one cannot say that I was lazy. For starters, I trained much with Erendite in order to get a better understanding and control of it. By now I managed to use it much faster and shoot, for a lack of a better word, Erendite's energy attack. This however costs more energy and is a bit weaker, but it gives me a range attack which is useful. I also do not need to call out Erendite's name for the attack. I really need to think of a name instead of calling it the attack all the time. Maybe overkill. It doesn't sound cool and is too edgy. There are some advantages beside not warning the enemy about the incoming attack with this method. It actually costs less energy and less focus, but in return it is also quite a bit weaker. Is that why people in shows yell out their attack name? It would make sense, but how would the writers know? Wait, are those writers connected with the mystical world? That would actually explain quite a bit. Another thing that happened was that Sona Kaichu asked me if I would be interested in training with her peerage and her. I of course accepted. It was great training and I got to know the member of the student council better. I get along the best with Sona Kaichu, Gen-san, and surprisingly Tsubasa-san. Sona Kaichu isn't really that surprising, as is Gen-san. After all, he is a man of culture. I really wish him the best of luck to get together with Sona Kaichu. Tsubasa-san was a surprise but a welcomed one. She is what I would call a tomboy who doesn't mind getting dirty. Okay, maybe I spent too much time with Matsuda and Madohama. Anyways, we bonded over our training. While the others were already tired, we continued to spar, and man is she tough. It is not only because she is a rook, but her skills as a martial artist and her ability to infuse demonic energy into her punches and kicks makes her a force to be cautious about. Even if the latter took a bit of ass kicking for her to use that ability. I mean, I kind of get it. But yes, I am a human, but I am also a god's damned warrior. At least by now they should know not to hold back. Still a shame that I cannot use Erendite in fear to hurt them. I wonder why the Holy Aura and the Demonic Aura aren't neutralizing each other. Oh well, it is something I probably wouldn't understand even if someone explained it. I also got along with the other member in the training, but not as much as those three. What also was interesting was Sona Kaichu asking me if I would accompany them on a stray devil hunt. I wanted to understand stray devils better anyway, so I accepted, and it was an interesting experience. Flashback. Near an old mansion. "Hey Hayato-kun, what took you so long?" Yura-sen called out to me as I arrived with my bike. "You are almost late, and what is with that backpack?" "Sorry Yura-sen. When my mom heard that I would be going with you hunting a stray devil, she went all mother mode and packed the backpack with clothes to change, something to drink, some snakes for us, and some other things she thought would be useful." Took me and my dad some time to convince her that not all the things she packed was necessary and that the wait could be inconvenient for me. First, call me Tsubasa. Second, your mom seems nice. Your Tsubasa-san tells me. You can call me Issei, Tsubasa-san. Oh, already on first name Hayato-san. Well, we are going to fight together, so it seems fair to do so. You can call me Gen then, Issei-san. It is shorter than my full first name. Gen-sen says as he came over to us. Come on, you two. Kaichu wants to get the hunt started. With that, the three of us make our way to the others. Good evening, Hayato-san. Now that you have arrived, let us begin. Shitori Kaichu tells us. First, the information we managed to gather. The stray devil has been in the area for almost a week and killed in that time around 30 humans. Aim Shitori Kaichu. Not to seem rude or anything, but why wasn't he already dealt with? I ask because if 30 people already died, someone should have taken action. That would be because of the fallen angel incident, Issei-kun. Tsubasa-san answers for Shitori Kaichu. While the deaths of those 30 is extremely sad, and it annoys me to no end that we didn't do anything before now. However, the risk of starting up the war between the three fractions is unfortunately more important than the stray devil. I do not reply to that. After all, it is the logical decision. But just because something is logical doesn't mean that need to like it or that it is the morally correct decision. But it also isn't right to complain to them. They aren't happy about what happened ever. Anyways, the stray devil shouldn't be that strong, but that doesn't mean we should get overconfident. We will surround the mansion with 3 teams of 3. The first team will be Tsubasa-san, Tomo-san, and Momo-san. Team 2 is Raya-san, Ruruko-san, and Hayato-san, and the last team is Tsubaki, Gen-kun, and me. Shitori Kaichu tells us. Team 1, you guys will take the front entrance. Team 2 will enter over the right side. And my team will enter through the left side. Everyone get ready, we will enter on the signal. Gen-san, Ruruko-san, I declare this enemy territory. Yes, Kaichu. Every one of Shitori Kaichu's peerage yells. I simply summon Arendite and go to my team. So how do we want to go in? I ask the 2 girls. Well, I am more of a ranged fighter and supporter with my magic, while you are a close combatant. Ruruko-chan can do both, but not as good as either of us in our respective roles. So I would say you take point, followed with Ruruko-chan and me last. Kusaka-san suggests. I am fine with this, Kusaka-san. What about you, Nomura-san? I'm also fine with this, but Issei-san, call me Ruruko. Okay, Ruruko-san says. You can also call me Raya if you want, Hayato-san. I will, and you two can call me Issei. With that, we make our way toward our point of entrance. When we arrive there, we waited for the signal, and upon receiving, entered. As I am the first to enter the building of my team, I do a quick scan of the corridor. Upon seeing nothing suspicious, I let the others in. Issei-san, you do know that you do not need to be so protective, professional. Anyways, we can protect ourselves and have more experience than you, so calm down. Ruruko-san tells me and flexes her arm to prove her point jokingly. While I agree that you should be less tensed, Issei-san, I also think you should take the situation a bit more serious, Ruruko-chan. What? Kaichu said that the stray devil is weak. I really think we do not, all of us here. The 2 devils keep on their little discussion as we go through the corridor and check every room we find. Well, this is the last room here. Anybody want to bet that the stray is here? I ask jokingly the other 2. As we go through the door, I notice 2 things. The first is that it isn't a door toward a room but toward another part of the building. The second thing is movement. I immediately signal the other 2 to look in the direction of the movement. Well, it seems like we found the stray first. Ruruko-san says. What smells here so good? Asks the stray devil as it reveals itself completely. Well, it is probably not completely correct, since she has the upper body of a voluptuous woman with long black hair. She would be considered a beauty with few comparisons if not for her lower body. Gods, I don't know where to look. On the one hand, those claws and mouth of the lower body seem to be her main weapons. On the other hand, naked boobs. I think to myself, my eyes looking up and down. Is it you girls who smell so good? The stray asks before sniffing the air. No, you smell horrible. Then it must be you, boy. She continues. A smile of a maniac grows on her faces and she starts to rub her breasts. I can already imagine the taste of your flesh. She moans. You first need to kill all of us. Promote to queen, says Ruruko-san, and goes into a fighting stand. With it, the fight starts. I ran at the stray but need to defend against the claws. I am unable to get a good hit in but a few cuts on the stray's front legs. As I deflect the claws yet again, Ruruko-san jumps over me and delivers a powerful kick. This sent the stray flying, and on landing she was pierced through several icicles. The stray screams in pain but didn't die. She stands up and her face changes. Where before she had a beautiful face, she now has a face of a monster with glowing red eyes and piranha-like teeth. With her new look, she charges us. Ruruko-san stands herself in the way of the stray and grabs the claws, effectively locking her in place. I take the opportunity and try to attack her, but before I manage to hit, my instincts roar at me to jump away. I do so, and moments later some kind of liquid sprays out of her breasts, and upon making contact with the ground begin to corrode it. What the hell is that? I exclaim at seeing the acid, trying not to imagine what would have happened if it hit me. This is, the stray starts to say, and grabs Ruruko-san before she stands up on her hind legs, lifting up Ruruko-san in the process. One of the things that will be your doom. And with that she stuffs Ruruko-san in her lower mouth. Wait, concentrate on the fight, and tries to close it. Keyword on try. Haruko-san managed to grab one tooth in one hand and stops the closing mouth through her clothes. Got some cuts, especially her shirt. Why won't you give up? Screams the stray. Issei-san, here is a speed boost. Rhea-san calls out to me as a magic circle appears where I stand. Thanks, and with that I run toward the stray. Wow, it feels like I can fly. I can't help but think as I move around the stray and attack her from the back. My attack caused a huge cut on her back and apparent by the scream also a lot of pain. It is enough to let Haruko-san escape. With her free I decide to retreat too and regroup with the others. This starts to get annoying. Haruko-san says, "Hey, I am able to kill her with my next attack, but I do need a moment to prepare. Could you two distract her for a bit?" I ask the two. "Sure, shouldn't be so hard." Haruko-san says as Rhea-san simply nods. With our plan decided, we start our respective roles. Haruko-san sprints in the direction of the stray and taunts her while evading her attacks. Rhea-san meanwhile fires of some weak spells as annoyances. I, on the other hand, am gathering energy. When I feel that I have enough I call toward the others. "Alright, I am ready." "Good, then show us what you got." And with that Haruko-san punches one of the claws to give me an opening. She does not need to tell me this twice as I run toward the stray. I use the opening and call out, "Erendite." With that one attack I sent the stray flying. She crushes through at least one wall, but I couldn't see how many because of the dust. "Well, that was impressive, Issei-san," Haruko-san says with her mouth slightly aghast. "What the hell happened here?" Gen-san says as he and the other members of the student council enter. Of course, now that the fight is over they're arriving. Well, I guess I can't really blame them. The fight only lasted around 4 minutes. We kicked the stray devil's ass. "That what happened?" Haruko-san says a bit too proud. "Is that so? Let us check if it is dead and then return to the council room. There you can give us a full report," Shitori Kaichu tells us. Later after the report in the council room. "I understand. You three did a good job," Shitori Kaichu tells us. "Thank you," we tell her. "Alright, I think that is all for today. Hayato-san, I would like to talk with you for a moment, so if you could stay a moment." Everyone else is dismissed. Shitori Kaichu says, "Yes, Kaichu." And with some goodbyes the remaining people in the room are Shitori Kaichu and me. First, Hayato-san, I want to thank you for helping us today. It was no problem. It was a good experience for me too, so there is no need to worry, Shitori Kaichu. Sona, hey, what did you say? I asked, not entirely sure I heard her correctly. I said you can call me Sona. Oh, I see. Then you can call me Issei too. Wow, I would never have thought that I get to call Kyo's One-chan by her first name. I think to myself, alright, now then Issei-san, there are some other things I want to talk about with you. The first is payment. Normally I would simply divide the payment evenly between my peerage, but I forgot to ask you what you would like as payment. Payment? You do not need to pay me. Like I said, it was a good experience for me and also live combat training. Issei-san, please just accept payment and tell me what you want. It would hurt my pride as a devil if you do not accept. Sona Kaichu sighs. Okay, if it means so much to you then I accept. The payment doesn't need to be money, correct? I ask, an idea already forming in my head. Yes, that is correct. It can simply be jewels, information, or something completely different. If you do not yet have an idea, then we could also say that I owe you a small favor and leave it at that. No, I have an idea. I just wanted to make sure that it is a possibility. Would it be possible for you guys to teach me a bit of magic? Magic? That is surprising. I never thought you would be really interested in that. Sona Kaichu says in surprise and curiosity. Yeah, my father doesn't know how to use magic, and ever since Akino-chan told me I could use magic I was curious about it. I know that I won't be a great mage, but it still might be useful. Oh, I see. That will be no problem. Tsubaki, Momo and I could teach you, but I think the best to teach you would be Rhea. Oh really? Why? I mean, I know that she knows many types of magic, but is there a specific reason? Well, not to go too deep in her personal family history, but her grandmother was a magician. Oh, I see. Alright then. What next? Well, one of the things I wanted to ask you may be more useful for you now than I thought. I want to ask you if you would like to accompany me and some of my peerage to the familiar forest next week. Maybe you can get a familiar of your own there. Oh, that sounds interesting. If you would have me, then I would love to accompany you guys. Great. I will tell you when to meet us at our next training session. I have nothing to say, so if you have nothing else, I wish you a good night. Flashback ends. Hello everybody. This is now the second part of this chapter. Sorry this took longer than I said, but I had problems to write some parts. To be honest, I think I should slow down the rate that I update. It isn't like that do much, but I do this because I feel like it, and at the moment this feels a bit more like a chore. I will not discontinue this story, however. Anyways, I hope you like it, and I will see. Well, you will read of me at the end again. Some of you may die, but this is a sacrifice I am willing to make. Equals talking. Crap. I need to go on a toilet. Equals yelling. Ah, he is a man of culture. Equals thinking. Back in the presence in front of the council room. Man, the last few days were tiring. Rhea-san really hardcore about the magic lesson, but at least I know the spell to make a familiar contract now. My magic lesson started the next day of the hunt and were intense. Not physically, even if I spent hours using spells other and other again. No, the hardest part was the mental aspect of it. You need to know much in order to cast even one spell. And then there also was Tamo, who challenged me every training in order to test her sword style against mine. With a last sigh I knock and leave those thoughts behind. The Upon entering I was greeted by Ruruko-san, Gen-san and Sona Kaichu. Hey guys, am I early or what is up with the others? I ask into the room. It is unusual for the others not being present. Hello Issei-san. The others are going patrolling. It will be only us today. Sona Kaichu answers my question. Now that you have arrived, let us go. And with that we group together and use a teleportation circle to travel to the familiar forest. Familiar forest. So this is the familiar forest. Looks ominous. Issei says as he look around. Oh ho ho, it is full moon today. The perfect time to look for a familiar. A voice comes from one of the trees. As the group look toward the direction of the voice and see a man there. The man wears a white tank top and gray shorts. On his back he carries a big yellow backpack. He also has unkempt hair which is a bit tamed by his cap and a ribbon. Who is that guy? Asks Genshiro. Boy, I am Zadaoji, and I will be your guide this fine night. The now named Zadaoji says. Now then, what kind of familiar do you want? A strong one, a fast one that can heal. With my help you will. Wait, why is a human here? Is that a problem? Sona asks with her normal monotone voice, but hidden in it was a slight edge. Zadaoji shivers and quickly replies, No, there isn't. I was just surprised, that is all. It is not common for a human to appear here. Good, then let us start. And with that they start their search. So you three still didn't tell me what kind of familiar you want, states Zadaoji. Well, I want a strong one, something I can rely on to have my back. Genshiro says. That is surprising mature of you, Gen-kun. Sona states upon hearing Genshiro's reason. Oh come on, Kaichu. I am often mature, replies Genshiro a bit hurt. Well I would like a cute one. Ruruko says. Hey, a cute one. For your first familiar you should choose something useful. The boy has the right mentality. What about you, human boy? Zadaoji asks Issei. Well, to be honest, I didn't really think about it since I wasn't sure if I could even do the familiar contact on time. But I guess something with which I could fly would be useful, or something which helps me gather information would also be good. Issei answers. All this are wise choices for you, I feel it. And do not worry, I have people who had less of an idea than you or even the little girl here. Zadaoji says before turning toward Genshiro. I may have an idea for a familiar for you. It can breathe fire and back in the ancient times was quite feared. So are you interested? Yes, says Genshiro while think to himself, oh boy, this sounds like a dragon. With that Zadaoji takes the lead and guides them in a specific direction. Say Zadaoji-san, what can be a familiar? Asks Issei. Well, if we're going to be theoretical, then everything and everyone that poses mana can be a familiar. From the smallest insect to even the mightiest magician. Tiamat herself could even become a familiar. But nobody managed to do that, but not because of a lack of trying. Zadaoji says with a hint of amusement. As they continue to walk they hear a loud roar coming from the direction they are going. What was that? Asks Ruruko while sliding a bit closer to Genshiro. That would be what I had in mind for your friend. It is a chimera, and not one of those who were created in some lab, but a natural chimera. Zadaoji reveals toward the group while standing as if he expects to be praised. A natural chimera. Genshiro only replies, clearly not having any idea what the man is talking about. Before Zadaoji could explain, Issei answers. If it is what I think it is, then it is a monster form Greek mythology with the body and a head of a lion, the tail is a snake with potent venom, and it has a second goat head. It also has the ability to breathe fire. Boy, for not having put many thought into your familiar, you do know your stuff. Zadaoji says with a bit of respect. Before Issei could say anything more, the group started to hear a sound. At first it was extremely faint, but over time it became louder. It didn't take long for the group to figure out that the sounds resemble wing beatings. Then came a second roar, this time much closer to the group. The group quickly figured out that whatever the sound of wing beatings make is trying to escape the chimera. After a moment a black Pegasus appears out of the woods and lands close to them. At first both Zadaoji and Issei are wondering why the Pegasus has such trouble to escape the chimera, since Pegasus are quite a bit faster than chimeras, but then Ruruko notices something which answers their wondering. Look, it is hurt, Ruruko says as she points at a wound near of one of the wings of the Pegasus. It isn't something deadly, but the wound clearly slows down the Pegasus. Not a moment later 3 chimeras appear as well out of the woods. What are we going to do? Asks Genshiro. But before anyone could say anything, Issei already moved and shoot an energy wave toward a chimera who was about to leap at the Pegasus. I won't let it die here, Issei states as if he says the sky is blue. As if he is saying the sky is red in the familiar forest. Well, seems like that we fight, Genshiro says, and everyone prepare for the fight. Issei and Genshiro go toward the chimera who is nearest to the Pegasus. As Ruruko, Zadaoji and Sona turn toward the other chimeras. As Issei tries to close in on his target, the chimera starts to breathe fire. While Issei manages to evade, he also loses the ground he gained and retreads back toward Genshiro. Damn it, this would easier if I had my spear. Issei curses to himself but is by Genshiro. Wait, you know how to a spear. Why didn't you tell us that? First, now isn't really the time, but to give you a short answer. Erendite was simply the better choice than any other weapon I own. Wait, how many weapons do you own? Well, a Xiphos, and a Phys if you want to count it, a Dory, a bow, but I am not great with it, and Erendite of course. The spear is actually my preferred weapon, but not by much. Seriously, Genshiro mumbles to himself as Issei returns his complete focus back on the Chimera. All doesn't matter right now. Blind. With that, Genshiro's sacred gear appears and shoots toward the Chimera's front legs and binds them. Now that the Chimera's movement is reduced, Issei moves to the back of the Chimera and attacks the snake. Issei knows that as long as the Chimera has all of its head, trying some kind of surprise attack will be as good as impossible. So he decided to take care of the easiest one for now. The snake part notices Issei, and once he was close enough it lunges at him. But he managed to evade and tries to counter, but instead of cutting it off, the whole Chimera leaps toward Genshiro and evades with that action Issei's attack. Genshiro stumbles a bit at the sudden lunge, but managed to evade the Chimera by opening his wings and taking into the sky. It is something he often uses against Issei since the human cannot follow him there. In the sky, Genshiro can both take a breather and use his beneficial position for his next attack. Genshiro flies higher and higher, and because his line is still connected with the Chimera, it is forced on its hind legs. This is something which surprises it. Issei takes this opportunity and cuts of the snake part and wounds its hind legs. The Chimera screams in pain and tries to turn toward Issei to bite him, but it is unable to do so because of Genshiro's line. So it turns its lion head back toward Genshiro and breathes fire. In order to evade the fire, Genshiro releases his line and retreats toward Issei, who went back to the Pegasus. Now with the snake taken care of, defeating the rest should be much easier, Issei says. Genshiro nods and takes the opportunity to look toward Sona, Ruruko, and Zadaoji. Sona is taking on a Chimera alone and seems to have no trouble doing so with her water manipulation. Ruruko and Zadaoji, on the other hand, seem to have trouble fighting their Chimera. Ruruko isn't able to hit the Chimera since whenever she tries close into it, it ever attacks with its claws and heads or uses its fire breath. Zadaoji, or more precious, his familiars, doesn't seem to be able to help her. Zadaoji himself doesn't seem to have any offensive spells or other magic that could help, and his familiars are simply too weak to be a concern for the Chimera. The only reason they weren't hurt yet is because Ruruko became a rook and tanked every hit. But slowly she gets exhausted. Damn it, Ruruko-chan and Zadaoji-sen have trouble with their Chimera. Genshiro tells Issei, "What should we do?" After a short moment, Issei replies, "You go help them." With its hind legs inquired, "I should be able to stall enough time for you guys or Sona Kaichu to defeat one of the Chimera. Are you sure?" "Yes, now go." And with that, Genshiro goes to help Ruruko and Zadaoji. Now how to deal with you? Issei asks himself as he regards the Chimera. He starts to gather energy for his special attack. But to protect should Chimera uses its fire breath. While Issei may be able to evade it, he isn't sure if the Pegasus behind Hai could do the same. And like predicted, the Chimera uses its breath attack. What he however didn't predict is that Chimera would use its own fire as cover as it lunges at him. Issei is not able to completely evade the attack, and one of the claws managed to gravely wound Issei's leg. Now with his mobility limited, he wasn't as confident in buying enough time for the others to deal with their Chimeras and come to his help. While he and Chimera are both hurt, it doesn't mean that they are in the disadvantageous position. The Chimera's breath attack can be far more often and doesn't take as long to use as Issei's special move. This gives it a huge advantage. Before Issei could come up with a plan, he feels something nudge me from behind me. Not enough for me to lose my balance, but enough to get my attention. As he half turns behind him, he sees the Pegasus behind him. Upon seeing that it has Issei's attention, it turns its head toward its back. It takes Issei a moment to realize what it wants, but asks it anyway, "Do you really want me to ride on your back?" It neighs in response. "Okay then, but I need to tell you I never rode a Pegasus," says Issei as he climbs on its back. "So what now?" Issei thinks to himself. With him on the Pegasus, he gained more speed than before, but that speed doesn't equals movability. In addition, he has never fought on a horseback and needs to be careful to not fall down. But before Issei could decide on an action, the Chimera decided that it had enough of waiting. It uses its breath attack. The Pegasus takes a few steps away from the flame's range, but the Chimera used the fire yet again as a cover for its second attack. This time, however, instead to do any damage or killing its target, it is suddenly flung away by a strong wind. This takes Issei by surprise, but it also gives him in strategy. But before he could make this strategy into reality, he needed to confirm his theory first. So he turned towards Zadaoji and asks, "Zadaoji-san, can Pegasus use wind magic?" "Yes, they are good in it," came the quick reply from the guide. "Hey, I have an idea how we can defeat the Chimera," Issei says and pats the Pegasus to get its attention. The next time it uses its fire breath, create some kind of upwind and then run toward its lion head. "Leave the rest to me." At first it doesn't reply, and Issei fears that it may throw him off for his idea. This plan takes quite a bit of trust because a single mistake could kill them. Because of that, he cannot really be saddened by his temporary partner, but he has enough knowledge of physics to know that the hot fire plus the upwind should be enough to ride under it. While the fire hinders Issei to see the Chimera, the same is true on the other side of the fire. It cannot see him, and that is on what is betting on. After another moment of silence, the Pegasus neighs in what Issei guesses is agreement. In not a moment, as soon as the Chimera is back on its legs and is readying another breath attack. Issei silently prays to the gods that his plan works. Upon releasing the attack, the Pegasus starts to run and a small tornado appears under the flames, and like planned the flames rise high enough for them to ride under it. Issei would have released a sigh of release if his part of the plan isn't next. Upon coming nearer and nearer, Issei readies Arendite, which had gathered energy for a while now, and upon coming in strike range of the lion head, Issei yells, "Arendite overload." An explosion happened at the spot where Issei hit, but he and the Pegasus are a safe distance away. Issei turns toward to the Chimera but sees that it is dead. "Pah, that went better than I awaited. Thank you, Lady Athena, Lord Ares, and Lady Nike for giving me this victory. You all right, partner?" The page says neighs only as a reply before it sits down, but Issei stays on its back and lays on it. "Say, I came here to look for a familiar. Are you interested to become mine?" Before it could answer, a voice calls out to them, "What already forgot about us and replaced us with a horse." "Na Jin-san, I knew you could beat the other chimeras, so why the need to worry?" Issei calmly replies as he looks toward the others as they make their way toward him. "Issei-san, let me see your leg. And you, Zadaoji-san, please look at the Pegasus." Sona commands. After a few moments, all wounds got treated. "I am sorry, Issei, but I do not know healing magic to heal your wound. The bandage is the best I can do." Sona apologizes. It is extremely embarrassing since she was the one to invite Issei and now he got hurt on the trip. "It is okay, Sona Kaichu. I can't use healing magic myself and wouldn't do as a good job with the bandage as you did. So it is fine," replies Issei. "What now, Gen-kun?" "Issei-san and I haven't found a familiar yet, but I don't think it would be smart to continue to search with Issei-san wounded." Baruko asks. "We should leave. We still can come back another time." Sona says and the others agree. "I am sorry that you guys didn't find a familiar and that the boy got hurt." Zadaoji apologizes as it was his idea to look for a chimera. As they prepare to return home, the Pegasus neighs and nudges Issei. "Right, I still need your answer, but I guess you accept." Issei asks and the Pegasus neighs in agreement. "Well, at least one of us got a familiar." Genshiro sighs as Issei makes a familiar contact with the Pegasus. "Great job, boy. You should probably know that it is a male and maybe give it a name," Zadaoji says as he observes the ritual. "All right. Then your name shall be Blackjack," Issei says. Later in the student council room. "Issei-san, please wait a moment. There is something I want to ask you," Sona says as they return. "Sure, what is it?" "Issei-san, would you be willing to become a part of my peerage? I had observed you over the last weeks and determined that you are a good fit for it. Do not worry, if you want to decline, no one will hold it against you." Sona asks Issei. Both Genshiro and Ruruko are quiet and observing Issei. "I am honored that you would ask me," Issei begins to say, and at that the devils begin to smile. ... But I will decline." This shocked the devils, but Sona recovers quickly. "May I know why?" Sona asks in a calm voice. "I have nothing against working for you, but I just don't want to lose my humanity yet. Maybe later in my life, but not now," Issei says. "I understand. I hope we continue to work together from time to time. I wish you a good night, Issei-san," Sona says. Issei says his goodbyes and leaves. After a moment of silence, Ruruko says, "Well, that's a shame." "Yes, but we will respect his decision," Sona says. Issei's home. Issei enters his home and notices that the light in the living room is still on. Wondering why it still is on, he goes to the living room. As Issei enters the room, he is surprised at what he sees. Sitting on the couch are his parents, but it isn't them who surprises him. It is Akino who sits on the other side of them. "Akino-chan, why are you back? When came you back?" asks Issei. "Aiz-kun, you are back," Akino says as she stands up and goes over to him to give him a hug. But as she does it, Issei lets out a hiss as he needed to shift his weight onto his injured leg. "What happened, Aiz-kun? Which leg is it injured?" As Issei shows her his leg and tells her and his parents what happened, Akino summons Twilight Healing and heals Issei's leg. "Wow, thanks Akino-chan," Issei says as he gives her a hug, but then he gets an idea. "Hey Akino-chan, can you heal my new familiar?" And Akino confirms that she, Issei and his parents to the backyard where he summons Blackjack. "Not to sound ungrateful or unhappy, but you still haven't answered why you are back," Issei asks, as he remembers the Grigori-owned Citri-san compensation. "Well, one of the things that they wanted was direct contact to the leaders of the Grigori, so I was chosen to be that contact since Citri-san already knows me. And since your mother said I could stay here, we will from now on live together, darling," explains Akino. The last part was said with a huge amount of teasing, and Issei fears how his school life will be from now on. Well, this is the second part of chapter 4. But since it took me longer than I wanted, I also made a side story. So enjoy. P.S. Yes, the Pegasus is took from Percy Jackson. Side story, the importance of devil's wings in the high ground. Genshiro and Issei are sparring a while now, and Issei pushes Genshiro back with every maneuver he does. Every time Genshiro tries to use line to catch Issei, Issei evades and attacks him. This process repeats itself until Genshiro takes into the sky after another failed attempt. "Give up, Issei," Genshiro says with a large smile as a quote comes to his mind. "I have the high ground." At first Issei doesn't react, but then he smiles and says, "You are underestimating my power." Issei sprints toward a nearby tree and Genshiro figures out what he is planning. "Don't try it." But Issei already jumps toward the tree and then from it toward Genshiro. Issei closes in on Genshiro, but before he is in striking range he starts to fall. Before Issei could land on the ground, a line from Genshiro catches one of his arm. now hanging in the air and unable to evade any further range attack. Issei sighs and says, "You win, Gen-san. I give up. I told you, I hid the high ground." Genshiro says with a cocky smile, "Oh, shut up. I still cannot believe you did a quote from Star Wars and I went along," says Issei. "Oh well, that was a good strategy. You guys are using your wings so rarely that at times I forget about them." "Why aren't you guys your wings so often, by the way?" "Because they aren't so useful in a fight," Genshiro says as if Issei's question was dumb. "Why shouldn't they be useful? They are great for mobility. You can simply fly over disadvantageous terrain or evade people who can't fly. Even if the opponent can fly, he or she still needs to follow you, which give you the opportunity to put them in a hard-to-evade position." Genshiro at first seems to want Sei's argument against what Issei said and opens his mouth, but then a look of realization comes over him and he slowly closes his mouth. And like that, Genshiro learned the importance of devil's wings in the high ground or high sky, something he later uses and creates a little reputation for himself. Yet again, Issei's life has changed. With so many changes, he starts to wonder if he shares more with his Achilles than his blood and name. Issei just hopes that he won't have a similar fate to Achilles, dying young but with endless amount of glory. It has been a few weeks since Akino returned. Like Issei expected, feared his school life became rather troublesome. The whole school had many questions for both Akino and Issei. While they had left Issei alone for the most part after Akino first visited the school, now they want answers, and the answers that they got from Akino didn't please them. Issei quickly became one of the envied male in the school for having such a gorgeous girlfriend, fiancé. Besides that, his interaction with the student council also reduced. He still spent his time during break with some of the members like Genshiro, but not so much after school. There ever spends time with Akino, trains or learn how to ride blackjack while he is in the sky. Akino had become quite popular, which isn't really surprising. She is pretty and smart, becoming one of the top student of her class in a week. Also, despite her tender figure, she is quite athletic. Many male and some female fell in love with her or even worship her, while others envy her for what they perceive as Akino's perfection. While those peaceful times happen, a storm is brewing in the distant, one that may shake the whole supernatural world. While the school day ends and the students start to either leave the school or go to their clubs, the student council is working on their paperwork. The quietness of their workplace was disturbed by a few knocks on their door. "Tsubaki-san, are we awaiting someone?" asks Sona, her queen. "No, Kaichu. At least weren't any meetings planned," answers the queen. "I understand," Sona says, before she loudly says, "Please come in." Upon her permission, the door is opened and two cloaked figures enter. Both wear white cloaks with two teal strips. One also carries something resembling a cross envelope in some white fabric. After closing door, the two figures take off their hoods, revealing two young women. One has shoulder-long blue hair with one green streak and dark yellow eyes. The other one has light brown twin tails with violet eyes. "Thank you, Miss Citri, for welcoming us," says the girl with blue hair. "My name is Zenobia Quarta, and I am Arena Shidu. We are members of the church," added the now-named Arena. The devils in the room tensed upon hearing with who the girls are affiliated with. "And what would two members of the church want from me?" Sona asks with narrowed eyes. "I will make it short. As you may know, the church had the Excalibur shards in its care, but a few weeks ago 3 of those shards were stolen." Zenobia answered without being affected by Sona's stare and continues saying, "We were able to locate the shards near the city. What we ask of you that you will not interfere in our search." After a moment of silence, Sona starts to speak. "I cannot promise such a thing without more information. For starters, do you know who stole the shards?" Zenobia slightly tensed and frowns before forcefully relaxed herself and answers, "We do know it was a fallen angel. It is why we deemed it acceptable for us to tell you. As for who exactly, we are certain. We have a strong suspect but not enough evidence to be certain." "A fallen angel," Sona says to herself before turning to her queen. "Please call for Hajime-san." "As you wish, Kaichu." With Tsubaki leaving, Sona turns back to the two church members. "With the information you have given us, I am afraid we cannot simply leave this be. If really only one fallen angel was able to steal the shards, I doubt only you two would be able to stop them in taking the shards back." At Sona's words, both church members clearly get agitated, which leads in turn makes the devils tense. "What do you even know? We are elite exorcists, trained by the best, and we came prepared. I have with me Excalibur Destruction," Zenobia says with clear hostility in her voice. "And I have Excalibur Mimic. So better do not underestimate us," says Arena less threatening and more condescendingly. "What? Are you stupid? You brought Excalibur shards to a hunt for someone who's stolen already 3. Sona exclaimed in surprise, not even registering the hidden threat from Zenobia. "We aren't stupid. Beside being strong weapons, we chose them precisely because the culprit is after them. It makes our search easier by making them coming to us," says Arena. Before Sona or anyone else can something more, a knock is heard. As the people in the room turn toward the door, Akino enters. "Ara, Shitori Kaichu, you called." "Ah yes, there is something I want to ask you. What do you know about the theft of the Excalibur shards?" "The Excalibur shards were stolen. I wasn't aware of it," says Akino with surprise before continue. "But are you asking me that? Do you suspect the Grigori?" "Before I answer that question, let me introduce you those two," says Sona as she points toward the two church members. "These are the exorcists Zenobia Quarta and Arena Shidu. They were tasked with the mission to retrieve those shards, and then turns herself toward the church members and introduces Aquino. This is Hanjima Aquino, a fallen angel who works as contact person between devils and the Grigori. Sona stops to take a breath before turning back toward Aquino and continues, as you have suspected, yes, the fallen angels, and as such the Grigori, are the main suspects since the one who stole the shards was a fallen angel. So my question is, do you have an idea who could have stolen it? The only fallen angel who are affiliated with the Grigori that would be strong enough to do something like that alone would be the member of the Cotter. While Lord Azazel would probably love to study them, I couldn't imagine him risking the peace just for them. As for the others, I could only imagine Lord Cockabeel to have the slightest interest, and that only to restart the war. Why would he want to restart the war? Asks Irina, looking confused. I can understand if he wants to fight the devils, but then why steal the Excalibur shards? Because he hates angels too. Answers Aquino. I do not know why, but he hates angels, especially Lord Michael. I rarely interact with him, but one time I asked him once why, but the only I got was why shouldn't I hate those who took away what should have been mine and now pretend to be something they aren't. I can only guess what he could mean by it. It is also why Lord Azazel has a close on him in his faction. You also said that there are fallen angel not affiliated with the Grigori. I didn't know there were unaffiliated fallen angel. Could one of them have stolen the shards? Asked Sona. There aren't many unaffiliated fallen angel as far as I know, but they have all something in common. They want the war back. It is also something they share with Lord Cockabeel's faction. Many of them would have been unaffiliated fallen angel if not for Lord Cockabeel. Anyway, while the unaffiliated fallen angel are stronger than the average fallen angel, I do not know of one strong or sneaky enough to do something as to steal the Excalibur shards. Explains Aquino before asking, so what will you do, Citri Kaichu? You two will do nothing. Commands Zenovia. Unfortunately for you, with the information I got, I cannot leave this simply be. It would be too dangerous to let it simply be. Now the question is if we will work together or not. If we work together, I would surrender the shards without asking anything in return. Offers Sona toward the two church members. While we are fine with exchanging information, we do not trust you or your peerage with our back. Answers Zenovia with narrowed eyes. And I do not trust you to be unsupervised in my territory or that you would truly share information. So either you have two people with you or I will refuse you ability to move freely. States Sona. Citri Kaichu, if I may, instead of two of your peerage members accompany them, would it be acceptable if Darling and I take their place? That way you wouldn't have to worry and they wouldn't need to work with devils. Suggested Aquino, which made Sona think about the proposal and then nodded in approval. And why should we trust you, a fallen angel, and another person who isn't even here? And why would you even want to do that? It makes you and the Grigori look even more suspect. Demands Zenovia to know. There is no real reason as to why you should trust me, but if you do not wish to work directly with the devils, then I am your only choice. And if you are worried that Darling is also a fallen angel, you don't need to. He is a human, who is not affiliated with the Grigori or devils but strong enough to kill fallen angels. As for why I do it, I mostly owe Citri Kaichu a favor for help me entering this school and help from before I enrolled into the school. Answers Aquino the question. I think we should accept Zenovia. It is better than working with devils, and with the human is really unaffiliated with the Grigori and still is friend with her, then she cannot be that bad. Says Irina happily, not noticing the annoyed looks she gets from the devils. GRR fine. We will work with you and your boyfriend. And with that Zenovia storms out of the room. Why? Hey, meet us by the nearby park tomorrow. Hey, wait for me, Zenovia. I still want to visit my old friend. Irina says as she runs after her partner. This is not how I expected my afternoon to go. Sona says before sighing, anyways, thank you for coming here and agreeing to keep an eye on them. But shouldn't you have first asked Hayadu-san? Don't worry about it. I have no doubt that Darling will help if I ask him later. But it is rather disturbing that someone managed to steal the Excalibur shards. HM, if you will excuse me, I probably should inform my father and Lord Azazel of this. Especially if Lord Cockabeel really is involved. And after that I will talk with Darling. Yes, do that. I probably should do the same with my sister. I definitely do not look forward to that, says Sona as she grimaces at the thought of what her cider would do. Well, I will keep you informed. Goodbye. And with that Aquino leaves. Later, Aquino and Issei are on their way home, discussing about what happened in the student council room. So, let me get this right, says Issei as he rethinks everything Aquino had told him. When King Arthur died, his sword, the Excalibur, broke into 7 pieces. 6 of those were retrieved by the church and reforged into new holy sword, collectively known as Excalibur shards. Now a fallen angel, that most likely was Cockabeel, who is one of the most powerful fallen angel there is, had stolen 3 of these Excalibur shards and 2 exorcists tried to retrieve them, which are suspected to be here. And you volunteered us to help them. That is correct so far, says Aquino. Okay, but why did you volunteer us? Asked Issei, not even denying that he will help. Because I own Citri Kaichu a favor and I rather choose what that favor is than letting her choose it. She may be kind and fair, but she is still a devil and can be opportunistic at times. And for why you were included. Well, you wouldn't want me to be alone with 2 people who do not need a big reason for attacking me, right, Darling? Asks Aquino with a too sweet smile. After a moment of hesitation he shakes his head. Beside, Lord Azazel has told me that he would some reinforcement to help us, and since the enemy is potentially Lord Cockabeel, they will be extremely strong. So don't worry, reassures Aquino Issei. The rest of the walk was comfortable silence. Both Issei and Aquino have nothing more to say and simply enjoyed the presence of the other as they neared their home. After entering, Issei calls out, "We are back. Welcome back you two." Issei's mother greets them as she comes from the living room. "Issei dear, please come to living room. We have guests and I am sure you will be surprised to see who one of them is." And with that she returns to the living room. "Guests?" asks Issei as he silently asks Aquino if she who they are. But she only shrugs her shoulders, also not knowing who they are. The two make their way toward the living room to see the guests. As they enter the living room, Issei doesn't recognize either of the girls sitting on the couch, but Aquino does instantly. After all, she had in conversation with them just that afternoon. "Look Issei, it is Irina-chan," Issei's mother says happily. "Irina?" asks Issei disbelievingly while looking at the brown-haired girl. He still remembers his childhood friend who moved away, but he always thought that Irina was a boy. "Hello Issei, it is nice to see you again. I missed you," says Irina as she hugs him.